Hello, friends, and welcome back to r/IDontWorkHereLady. And today we have one huge story that reveals all of Karen's sides. So I hope you fasten your seatbelt and let's get started. Karen mistakes me for a manager because of my headset. I thought with escaping retail 2 years ago, mostly unscathed, that I would never have to deal with a Karen. I was wrong. I'm on mobile, so I apologize for the formatting, and I'll try my best to keep grammar mistakes to a minimum. I'm so sorry for how long it turned out to be, but I'm still kind of embarrassed with how I reacted, so my typing is a bit frantic. So for the cast, you've got me, as myself, DK for Dumb Karen, WE for Walmart employee, and FM for my former manager. So this week, I actually got to be home for a few days. I'm an over-the-road truck driver that runs a dedicated load every week across country and nowhere near home. My co-driver, aka my dad, and I pretty much run 40-plus weeks out of the year and usually take a solid month off or so when we want to be home or go on vacation out of the country. Any other time, it's just a day or two here and there when we can and just happen to get out of town. But this time, we got to go home for a solid week. You know what that means? Home-cooked meals. I love to cook, and I also needed fresh groceries. Stupid me decided to run to Walmart solo instead of the neighborhood grocery store by my house. Boy, do I regret that now. I actually enjoy Walmart, much to everyone's shock. I'm a former employee, you see, an ex-cashier that, according to my former coworkers, have an unshakable customer service persona that couldn't be wavered by 2 years of retail abuse. I actually rather enjoyed the job, being a people-pleaser, masochist that I am, and I quite a number of regulars and employees that I still like to chat with when I'm out shopping. This day, I'd finished with my catching up and had moved deeply into my hunt for the ingredients I needed for a new recipe I was eager to try. I was having trouble finding a certain spice among the variety before me when it happened. The classic Karen throat clearing. Full disclosure, I have no idea how long the woman I looked up to find glaring at me had been trying to get my attention. I had my blue parrot headset on that I usually wear when driving, and at the time was using it to ironically listen to scary Walmart stories by a YouTuber while my eyes were scanning the shelves and checking the recipe list on my phone. Needless to say, I hadn't been looking for human interaction at that moment, but like my usual knee-jerk customer service persona, which is just me giving a polite smile and friendly eyes, kicked in, and I shifted my cart away from the shelves while also muting my phone. Me. I'm sorry if I'm DK. You shouldn't ignore a customer like that. It's unprofessional. Honestly, why do they appoint barely teenagers to management? DK scolds me for a bit more, ranting about management, meaning experience, but really I only paid attention to the first thing she said to me. My mind had wandered off, looking from her to down at myself. To her credit, I was dressed nice, but not exactly what I call professional, with pastel pink capris, flouncy olive green blouse, and shiny metallic bronze flats. What can I say? I like getting dressed nice and colorful when I'm not at risk of getting diesel on my clothes. DK was a middle-aged, local classic pain in the butt whose sense of fashion often hurt my eyes. This one looked like she just rolled out of the trailer park wearing a camo hoodie with pink, black workout pants that probably had never seen the inside of a gym, lime green running shoes, and bottle blonde hair done up in a ponytail pulled through the back of a very loved baseball cap. To complete the look, she had a huge Coach purse sitting in her buggy beside her. A bag even I know cost more than her entire outfit times 3. Yep, typical Karen for where I'm from. Me. Listen, I don't work here. If you need help with something, though, all you need to do is press that button and it'll call someone for you. I gesture to a need help call button located on a post about 2 paces behind me up the aisle. Usually I wouldn't mind helping someone who couldn't find something. I had former customers ask for my help all the time, and if I wasn't busy, and they were nice, or just elderly, I was a big hit with the elderly because I'm a sucker for little old ladies. So far, DK wasn't any of those things, and she had a perfume on that was making my nose itch, so I was hoping to shoo her away. No such luck. DK scowls at my suggestion. DK, why are you lying? You work here. You've checked me out numerous times, and I don't appreciate being lied to. The nerve. To be honest, I felt a mixture of confused resignation and completely dropped my smile and sighed. I'm only as nice as I want to be. In truth, I have a resting bee face that makes me very unapproachable according to my best friends. Me. Listen, I don't work here anymore, and I'm in the middle of getting my own groceries. So let's just not. Turning back to the shelf of spices, I checked my phone again before glancing over the selection before finally finding what I needed. Just as I move to put it in my buggy and move along with my day, I get a sharp, nasty pain in the side of my head. I yelped, probably louder than necessary, but I was so caught off guard by the pain that I didn't care. Plus, I'm very tender-headed. See, apparently the DK was not happy with me and grabbed a hold of my headset and yanked it off my head. Unfortunately for me, I have very thick, very wavy hair that for some reason other people envy. Not me, though. And especially not when the headrest of my headset tangled in my hair from the way she tried to snatch it off, and instead she ended up yanking and pulling out more than a few strands of hair. Even with such a yank, she didn't manage to free it from my head, and it just ended up dropping because the headset tangled further in my hair, and gravity then yanked my hair mercilessly out. Most people would have stopped and apologized after realizing what they'd done. Not DK, though. Don't you dare walk away from me. How dare you speak to me that way? I don't care if you're management now or what. You still work at effing Walmart. You're still not as important as me. Her last comment made me pause in the midst of trying to free my hair from my headset, eyes watering, scalp throbbing. I always hated how people look down on people working at Walmart. Majority of the cashiers and floor associates that I knew at this store were either students or were retired professionals like teachers, nurses, office workers. Most of our older staff were just part-timers to have something to do. I was PO'd. Me. I don't work here. DK. Not this again. I told you. Me. I don't work here. I don't work here. I don't work here. I don't work here. I just kept repeating myself, getting louder and louder until I was practically screaming at her, making her back away from me. Something I'd learned early on in childhood was that I was the last kind of person people expected to hear yell. I don't know if it's the way I look or just a vibe I give off. I don't know. But either way, I've learned to use it to my advantage to get people to back off. But the screaming also started to draw attention to us as people started coming into the aisle to see what was happening. Among the people included a Walmart employee I was familiar with, even though she started after I'd left, and my former manager. By the time they showed, I'd finished screaming and was now just glaring at the shell-shocked and probably embarrassed DK, who was red in the face. WE. What's going on here? Somebody hurt? DK pointed a finger at me first as I'm catching my breath and have finally started to fiddle with my hair again, trying to get it untangled. DK. This girl went crazy when I tried to ask her where something is and started screaming in my face. She even swung at me. She needs to go to jail or at least be fired. By the end of her speech, big crocodile tears were streaming down her face, and one of the random customers who'd come to watch was patting her shoulder and trying to console her. The WE and FM turned to me just as I finally got my headset free with a good clump of hair still wrapped around the headrest, and I looked up, meeting their gazes. FM. OP, are you all right? What happened? Why were you screaming? What's with all the hair? FM, bless her, didn't even wait for my response. I really wasn't in the state of mind to give one, as I tend to go mute when I get upset. As she looked from my distraught face to my hands still holding the headset and mess of hair hanging limply from it, before turning back to DK, who was quietly regaling some of the crowd with just how horrific I'd been. FM. Excuse me, but can you tell me what happened again? And also perhaps tell me why OP is holding a chunk of her hair? DK. What about her hair? I told you, she attacked me. I'm the victim here. Are you going to believe her over me because she's an employee? WE. That still doesn't answer her question. Did you pull out OP's hair? What kind of person does that? The crowd begins to murmur, and DK obviously realizes she's losing popular opinion. In the meantime, I'm starting to calm down and rub at my scalp, trying to dissipate the pain. Luckily, no blood. DK. I was just asking her a question and she ignored me. I pulled off her headphones to get her to listen to me. It's not my fault she doesn't brush her hair. WE. That's assault. Why would you ever put your hands on someone? And now you're telling everyone that she attacked you. What's the matter with you? FM. I think it's time we called the sheriff department. DK's eyes widened as she seemed to come to the realization that she might have screwed with the wrong person. But as I've said before, I can be nice when I want to. Me. I'm just fine. Just make her leave me alone. I don't want to spend one of my precious nights at home with a police officer unless he's buying me dinner. This made the crowd laugh. FM. Are you sure, OP? Me. No, but I have cold things to get home, a dinner to cook, and my dad's probably wondering what's taking so long. To that, FM nodded and forced DK to follow her while the crowd quickly dispersed and went back to their own shopping. WE stayed with me and we chatted while I got the last few things I needed and went to checkout. FM came up to me after I finished paying and told me she'd had the woman banned from this store. To be honest, that really sucks for her because this is the only Walmart in this county and the closest Walmart I know of is about a 40-minute drive from where I live. Apparently, though, I wasn't the first person she'd harassed there, although all the others had been actual employees. And the security feed that she reviewed clearly showed the woman trying to snatch off my headset. FM tells me that if it had been her, she would have socked the woman in the mouth, which is really surprising because FM was a former elementary school teacher who taught for close to 40 years before retiring and taking up the management position to stay active and supplement her income. FM has the patience of a saint, but says she wouldn't have hesitated to backhand DK after I explained to her what DK had said to me. We chatted some more, laughed a bit, and then I went home. I'm sorry it was so long, but I just had to get it out of my system in order to sleep tonight. I knew there were irate people in this world, but I never thought I'd meet such a self-entitled Karen in real life. Update. I take it back. I should have had her arrested the first go-round. This woman has made my nice, peaceful week at home a freaking nightmare. Yep, I ran into DK again today, but this time at Lowe's. So the new cast is DK as Dumb Karen, who didn't learn her lesson the first time, me for myself, AD for my awesome dad and boss, LE for Lowe's employee that I know, and LM for Lowe's manager, who I'm familiar with. So I decided to run another errand while I was home for the week. This time it was to Lowe's to pick up some mulch for AD's newly built raised flower beds and a few odds and ends like metal piping, spray paint, and screws for a home project I decided to start. AD is a few aisles over from me picking up the spray paint while I was looking at screws and chatting with LE for a few minutes about my cat. I own a Sphinx cat, a hairless cat named Pan, who'll go with me anywhere if I let him. Since Lowe's is pet-friendly, he usually tags along with me every trip and sits in the child seat without complaint the whole time. All the staff here adore him and are constantly stopping me for a visit and a chat. LE being the most often to visit because her section is right next to the main entrance. After LE leaves to check her section, but not before promising to bring back some cat treats for Pan, I turn my attention back to the screws. I kid you not. Mere seconds after LE leaves, I hear someone growl out, "You!" I turn around, wide-eyed, to find DK standing there behind her cart, glaring at me. Let me note before this exchange that I'm wearing jean shorts, red blouse with a bandana print, flip-flops, and my hair's pulled up with a scrunchie. I was the definition of non-professional attire, and I certainly don't look like a Lowe's associate. DK. So this is where you work. Me. Sorry? DK. Oh, you will be sorry. Where is your manager? I demand you get him for me now. I want you fired after what you did to me the other day. I'll admit I wasn't on my best game in this moment. It'd been a long day. AD and I had spent most of it out in the yard checking on the progress of the lawn. We'd laid grass seed before we went back to work at the end of May, and also shoving soil into the raised flower beds. I was sun-tired, and this woman had enough malice to knock the wind out of my sails. Me. I don't work here either, lady. DK. Liar. I saw you talking with your coworker. No one talks that much with staff unless you're an employee. Now, get me your manager. Now! Her comment really irritated me. By her logic, I should also work at the bank, the water company, the electric company, Dollar General, Witt's Barbecue, the Pilot, and pretty much everywhere else that I run errands in town. Especially the places I take Pan. He's such a well-behaved baby and an easement for people to approach me and strike up a conversation. Plus, I really do enjoy talking with people. But this woman acted like anyone working or making a living was beneath her. It disgusted me. Me. Are you deaf? I don't work here. And LE and I were just talking about my baby here. DK. Baby? Confused, DK peeks around me at Pan sitting there doing his best yoga pose with back leg thrown high in the air while he cleaned his leg. DK shrieks, making me step back into the shelves because, damn, I was not expecting that. Meanwhile, Pan doesn't even acknowledge her. He's too busy cleaning and used to loud noises from living on a truck. DK. What is that hideous creature? Me. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Hang on. Wait a minute. DK. How dare you bring that disgusting thing in a store? It's a naked rat. Me. It's my cat, you dumbass. I actually think the woman was getting ready to throw something at me and or Pan if LE didn't appear coming up the aisle followed by AD. LE. Ma'am, would you please calm down? OP, what's going on? DK. This girl brought a disgusting creature into the store. Get me a manager. I want her fired and banned. LE. Disgusting? AD. Fired? LE. Ma'am, this is a pet-friendly store, and Pan is a welcome guest. He may be unusual looking, but he's a very good fur baby. DK. That thing is an abomination. What if children saw it? It's licking its junk. Well, that was true. Pan had moved farther south with his cleaning and was still completely oblivious to the crazy lady. While LE was defending my little Pan's honor, AD nudged me to get my attention. AD. What the hell is going on with this woman? Me. Remember that stupid woman I told you about that thought I still worked at Walmart? AD. The one that pulled your hair out when she tried to snatch off your headset? Me. Uh-huh. And that's when AD's eyes went from mildly annoyed to fully PO'd. I wish there was an analogy for dads like there is for moms. You know, Tiger Mom or Mama Bear. AD really deserves one, especially when he's upset on my behalf. AD has a big heart and is a surrogate dad to any and all who need one, but biologically, I'm his only child. I am his number one priority, and DK dared to mess with me. AD. Tell LE to get her manager. He steps forward, calling for DK's attention, who's still ranting about Pan. Another bad move on her part, because my dad refers to him as his grandbaby. Me. I am OP's boss. What exactly did she do to you? DK gets this smug grin on her face for a minute as she looks from LE to me, then back to AD. It's then that her face twists into this stricken expression as she recounts to AD how I harassed her in Walmart a couple of days ago and got her thrown out of the store because I was friends with management, and how I had spotted her today and started threatening her and taunting her and yelling at her to get out of the store. Jeez, this woman had a screw loose. I managed to mumble to LE to go fetch the manager towards the beginning of her story, and LE scurried off, coming back fairly quickly with her manager in tow just as DK was demanding AD kick me out and how she couldn't believe employees acted like this and brought ugly animals to their place of work. LM stepped up, looking around at our little group, slightly confused. Apparently LE had only told him a customer was harassing another customer and to hurry. LM. I'm the shift manager. What seems to be the problem here? AD. Yeah, sorry to bother you, but this woman came up and started screaming at my daughter. She assaulted her at the Walmart on Friday and got banned from the store. Now she seems to think she can get my daughter banned from here in return, so she's making up wild accusations. DK's jaw drops at my AD's calm, albeit stern explanation as she looks between me and him. I don't know how she didn't realize he was my dad. I bear a striking resemblance to him, although most people say we look the most alike when we smile. And we definitely weren't smiling right now. DK, your daughter? I thought you said you were her manager. AD, nope. I said I was her boss, which I am. She does not work here or at Walmart. DK, you. DK made a strangled sound in her throat. Her face turned almost purple in shade. Whatever she wanted to say, I guess words couldn't convey, because suddenly she launched herself at us, arms raised, fingers curled like claws, ready to scratch our eyes out. AD was too quick for her, though, as he shoved me out of the way and sidestepped her, causing DK to run full force into the shelf behind us. She's lucky the lower drawers kept her from impaling herself in the eye with the hanging racks. Judging by her screams, though, I'm pretty sure she scratched the hell out of her arms as she fell back onto the floor none too gently. DK began shouting assault and for help and of course for the police. She got her wish. LM radioed for security, and in less than a minute, two guys were hauling butt, screeching and cursing DK up and marching her towards the front of the store. The police were called, and what should have been a 30-minute shopping trip turned into an hour-and-a-half-long ordeal of speaking with multiple managers, giving our statements to the police, watching DK lose it on the police, and having to be tasered in order to be handcuffed, and agreeing that, this time, yes, I want to press charges. They took security tapes, and I gave them the name of my former manager at Walmart to contact, confirming the earlier incident as well, to see about getting their security tapes too. We then finally got to pay for our stuff, with LM insisting on giving us 10% off our final purchase price for the trouble. Plus, he knew from working with us in the past just how much we'd spent at his store in the last year, and we've been landscaping AD's new property. That made AD very happy, and he spent the last couple hours calling up his buddies and telling them about the lunatic at Lowe's and how he got a discount. He's a simple man to please. I wish he wouldn't have told his wife, though, because she got very upset and worried about us. It's her normal state, and demanded for us to leave the rest of the yard work and my project until tomorrow and to just relax for the rest of the night. We obliged her, and I'm taking part of my resting time to write this update. I'm so shocked by this woman. I've never been spoken to by a stranger like this outside of my stint doing retail. Is this just how people are? God, I hope she gets some help. She won't be finding it at Lowe's, though, because we were assured that DK was banned from there as well. Plus, a side note, Lowe's is the only home improvement store in our county. The next available one is a Home Depot about a 30-minute drive up the interstate. Sucks to be her. Update. So hello, everyone. I know all of you have been waiting on some sort of update as to what happened to the woman after she was arrested. The quick and simple version of it is, she's in the county jail. I was contacted a few weeks ago and was informed that she pled guilty on all charges as a part of a plea deal. You see, at the time of her arrest, and yes, on top of her charges for harassing and assaulting me, she was also charged with resisting arrest and assault of an officer, because apparently she spit in his face. She was also carrying a controlled substance. They didn't say exactly what, and I didn't think to ask. Apparently she had enough of it that the charge was up to possession with intent to sell. I'm assuming the deal was about getting her supplier, but they didn't give me any details about it because it was still an ongoing case, so don't quote me on that. I'll see if I can find out more later on, and we'll keep you all apprised of the situation. Yes, I'm sorry, that is a long, quick explanation, but I felt it was owed to you all since you were very supportive in my last post, and I was planning to wait until I found out her full sentencing before I updated everybody. But then something happened this past week. You can go ahead and read about that in my other post. Definitely need to reread this with popcorn. It's a great story. So sorry this all happened, though. And thank you all for watching the video to the end, and I'll see you in the next one.